Hello YouTube family, and welcome to episode 16 of the shed build. Now today we're going to be working on putting in alternative or backup electric to the shed. As I've said before, the time for us to start seeds is coming at us like a freight train, and I will not have solar up in time to do this. However, no fear, we're going to be showing you how we're going to be getting electric to the shed that will provide a nice backup or main source, at least for a while, to what we're trying to do inside here. Now, before I do this, I need to go and I need to build the wall, as I stated, that's going to go into this opening. We're going to be assembling that in the shed because, as you can tell, as with the rest of the nation, here, let me change that, we've gotten some snow. Now, today, it is melting. So we're doing pretty good as far as the melt off, and things are supposed to warm up into the 40s, which is fantastic. Temp's going to dive again. Anyway, you didn't call me for a weather report. We're going to go ahead inside really quick, and I'm just going to do on time lapse the assembly of this wall. We need to get the wall up. We need to get the insulation in. I've got that interior door I talked about, but we're going to spend most of our time talking about this electrical outlet that we're going to be putting in and how we're going to make this work for our shed. So just hang with me for a little bit, and then we'll get this done. Through the magic of editing, we are going to show you the electrical first and not me finishing the wall to the seed room. That'll come after this, because I know that many of you want to see the electrical. You don't want to have to wade yourself through the other stuff before you get to that. And so you're going to see, while I wire this, the room done. And if you want to see how we completed the room, you can just stay tuned to the end of the video and hopefully watch all the way through. But what I have to do right now is actually run my hot wire from where the electrical is going to be coming into the shed to my light switch. And then we're going to start working through all the different hookups, as well as talking about how we're bringing backup electricity into the shed. Before I get started wiring things, let me give you my disclaimer. I am not an electrician. I have never gone to school to be an electrician. I've never gone to a trade school to be an electrician. The only experiments I have done with electricity is as a 7-year-old with my finger, a light socket, and a penny. And I learned some very important things about electricity very quickly. So, if you want to know how to do this right, go consult a professional. I am a do-it-yourselfer. So, having said all of that, let me switch the camera around and show you what I'm going to do based on what I've learned and I understand. Very quickly, to help me keep track of what my hot wire is, and then the wire that's taking my electricity to my light sockets, or excuse me, to my light sockets on my switch, I have just basically ran some electrical tape around my hot wire all the way through it. So we've got some there, we've got some there. Let me come behind the door. We've got some there, and then coming down. So I know which one is going to get plugged into my electricity. I'll possibly do the same thing with the rest of these. What I'm going to do here at my light switch is I'm going to take these two ground switches and I'm going to connect it with another piece of ground wire, and we're going to twist this together. It's called a pigtail, and then this end right here will get connected to the ground screw on my light switch. I pigtailed my grounds and brought the single line up to here. I have my hot coming into here. Now, if you're going to be wiring a light switch up in the off position, your hot comes in the bottom. That way, when you switch it on, it connects the circuit. The hot comes here and then takes it out to your light switch. This line here goes to my lights, and this is the hot coming in. And then with your white, now I'm going to cover this up. I'm going to end up taping that all up. You connect your two whites together. This is your common. And then once this is all done and I've checked it, I'll tape this up. I'll probably also run tape around the outside. I've done this before just to provide a little bit more protection since this is in a shed. And then we'll get this pushed in and we'll get our lights wired up. And then if everything's working fine, we'll turn them on and we'll have lights in the shed. Let's go ahead and take you on a quick tour. So I've finished this switch, and then let me swing around and do a spoiler. Doors in, walls in, you'll see that in just a little bit. And I went ahead and got my light all hooked up. I used pigtails to run to all of my wires. Now, since my lights are on a string or they're in series, what I've got is the wire going out to the next light all wired up. So I've got my hot coming in, I've got my white, and then my ground. And then what I've done, let me take you out here. Sorry for the walk. It terminates there. You see the light I'm going to be putting in. And I don't have to do anything fancy. I just put my ground in, my black, my white. The black wire always goes to the brass. The white wire goes to the, I don't know if it's aluminum, but it goes to the white screw. Again, I'm not an electrician. All right, let me come back over here. I've got my plugs all wired in. These are not in series. If you remember, they have their own dedicated line. So again, now they've got it black on black. I think they're doing that for people who are stupid like me. If not, it's the brass screw and then the aluminum or the white screw and your ground. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put my backup electricity in and put that fixture in, and then I'm going to put plugs on the end of my wires that will end up going into two boxes that I will put here, as which will also be able to plug into the inverter that I'm going to put here once I get my solar hooked up. However, let's go turn the camera around and take a look at the fixture or the that I'm going to be putting in down here for my electric. What I have is a Leviton plug system, but instead of it being a female plug, that's what that is. This is a male plug. Let me go ahead. Sorry, I'm holding with one hand. A male plug. And so the male plug will receive the correct end of my extension cord that will run from my house. Now I can drill a hole, and I've got the correct hole bit to fit over the backside of that and bring that simply through the wall. I don't have to worry about weather because they provide you a gasket that helps seal this out from weather. I could put a box in. I did get an old construction box and thought about running it that way, but I don't know. It's a lot of work, and I'm not sure it's going to work really well because those 4 screws don't line up with the 4 screws in the box. And I consulted the website for Leviton. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And they said, as long as I'm using the gasket, I can screw straight into the side of the building. So let's go ahead and drill that hole, and we will then get this pushed through, screwed in with the gasket, and then it's simply following the instructions for the right length of stripped wire, and you put those through those 3 holes and tighten the screws down, and it's ready to go. I am glad I did not go all the way through, and I'm going to have to plug up that small hole because when I went around the outside to go ahead and come back from the other direction so I wouldn't get blowout, I saw that it was on a seam and I would have problems with that gasket sealing. So I moved it over to the left a little bit, drilled that the rest of the way through, and I'll just take a little bit of a wood putty and fill up that hole. For now, I'll probably just put a piece of tape over it to keep stuff from getting inside. Let's go ahead and get that outlet installed. Now what I've done, I went looking for some screws that I could use that I just had laying around, and I think I'm going to use these roofing screws. I know they're going to be a little on the long side, but I'm going to use these roofing screws because they've got a gasket on them to kind of seal up those holes on that front plate. And again, my gasket's on the back side here. I'm going to go ahead and take a level that is way too long for what I need, get a fairly straight line so this doesn't look cattywampus when it's on the outside here, and then get this put onto the wall. That's pretty stinking secure. I'm pulling that pretty hard. A little concerned about how open that is. Probably some of you are too. And so I'm not sure what I'm going to do to eventually cover this up. It seems like a box should have worked, and who knows, I'll probably end up redoing this. Probably for at least a while. I might wrap this in electrical tape and the outside. I know that's sketch, but it's what I'm going to do for now. I now need to get this wire run over to here, get a staple in, and I got to go to the store and buy 2 more electrical outlets. I was there just 30 minutes ago. I completely forgot I needed 2. And so fortunately it's not very far away, and I'll run and go get these other 2 because I really want to get this done. All right, I'm sorry I haven't been able to film much, but my battery is almost dead and I just had to get this wired. I really wanted to get this done today, but let me show you what things look like and how I've done all of this. I don't have all of the covers on yet. I just wanted to make sure everything worked. Here's my hot coming out from my extension cord in the back. I've got my my plug, and then my plug continues onto this plug. I put plugs on the end of my electrical wires, so they'll end up getting plugged in here, and eventually they'll end up getting plugged into an inverter. My hot runs around here to my switch. My switch continues. It's on right now, and let me do this, the big reveal. Ta-da! I've just got those hanging right now. And ta-da! I've got light in that back part of the shed. So I've also checked these. They're hot, they're good. So now all I have to do is put these all to bed, get the covers on these, and then double check it, make sure everything's still hot and working correctly, and we will have electricity. We'll, for the most part, be able to then just get our countertop in here, and we'll be able to start doing seed starts. I do got to get that taken care of, or all my hot air will not only escape out of my mouth, but it'll escape out of there. All right, through editing magic, let me go now and show you what I did first in finishing this wall and getting the door put in. Well, we are done with all of the walls for the growing room on the inside. I showed you just me building the wall in the garage and then Lynn and I taking it out to the shed. I figured you'd had enough of watching me build walls and insulate and put indoors. I know I have. So let's just go inside and take a look at what things are looking like. And then, now it looks really dark in the inside anymore. I accidentally put that strip of insulation showing the wrong way, but oh well, big deal. It's a shed. I got this as square as I could. My opening isn't necessarily square, but the door opens and shuts and stays kind of nice and tight. A little pinch point right here I'll have to take care of later. I've also got to get some hardware, obviously a doorknob and things like that. The door's just dirty from carrying out here. So let's go ahead and take a look at what things are looking like here. Now, I know you're probably saying, big deal, it's just a little room. Yes, it is just a little room, but when it comes to heating, what you need for a grow room, and you're in here in a shed, and you're not in a house, and you don't have an central air and heat, then this is what you want to do. You want to make as small as a room as possible, get it insulated as well as possible, and that way it's going to keep it easier to heat up. So that's it. I mean, wow, you get in here and things change as far as the sound. I'm not sure really how else to do this for you. It's such a small room. And that's it. And again, you'll see we get this wonderful south-facing sunlight, even in the winter. We get good sun all the way through here. That's why I had the shed face this way, and the longest side of the shed, or the tallest part of the shed, facing south. And so these plants will get lots of natural sunlight through all of this. Again, thank you for joining us today. If this video was an encouragement to you, or you would like to give it the thumbs up. If you've not yet subscribed, hit the little subscribe button. If you would like to know when a new video comes out, hit the little bell button so you can receive a notification when we've published a new one. Again, we want to thank you so much for being on this journey with us and being part of our online family. You all have a blessed day.